Good morning. If you're on the west coast of the United States, it's good morning-ish. But we're gonna go with it. We're gonna say good morning because I've only been out of bed for like an hour and a half. Good morning. Welcome to
Oh,
Richard
mhm.
Toy Princess. I'm
Good
Allison,
morning there, Allison.
and my guest today is Eldor, aka the Masterversal Toy Hunter.
It's a
Um,
pleasure to be
oh,
here.
and I apologize at the end there. My voice almost tried to do an accent. I will try to avoid that.
Oh,
I'll
yes.
try to avoid the attorney and accent thing. No promises. Sometimes you just pick it up.
Like bad habit there. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can get into trouble because whenever I'm around people a lot, I will sometimes pick up their accent, and that's not always a good idea. Not even on purpose, it just happens.
Well, you might be able to say, I'm just translating there,
Yeah, right? I'm just translating. Um, Anyhow, thank you for joining me today, Eldor. And
Oh,
we're going to
my
color
troubles.
today some Masters of the Universe 1984.
Yes, I got the other fellow off to the side there, see, so
Excellent.
I got them all printed
Yep.
out and so
And
forth.
where did I put mine? I also have mine. Yep, right
Old
here. So if
skeletal there.
we finish, we'll get started on that Skeletor. I
Yes,
picked.
we'll say the bad news too
Yeah,
afterwards.
right. Well, I picked these whenever you said you wanted to come back, and because you're working on some amazing sorceress stuff. You've got that it's like a statue that you were building. So I was like, let's do some
Oh yes,
sorceress so we can.
that's still on the go. It's been a good few years working on that now. I believe I started it 2 years ago. But
Yeah,
yes, so when you get busy and sculpting by hand is by no means a easy task there, but it does take a long time to do. But well, she's just about finished there. All right,
she's
so
really amazing. Every time you
I'm
share
going to
her like
use this.
on Instagram, I'm
Oh yes,
excited.
yes. So just the wings have been started up. I decided to cut the other half because I felt it was a bit too big in
Yeah,
of itself. Because originally I had split the wing cape at the back there in case I wanted to, get a molding done or something such. I decided to split the wing cape at the back and then make a little slotting system there so it slots in place, but still there's a great portion of that attached to the other arm. Uh, yes, I was trying to think of a way to. It's either the wing cape is going to attach at the forearms there, or you split at the back. So I went with splitting at the back, just leaving a portion of the wings attached to the arms. So yes, I decided to cut another section off the other side there
yeah, that's really
because
cool.
yes, it was going to take a lot of sculpting.
If,
Anyway, I
if
think you
I
want to get
yawn,
who's on the chat there.
yeah, if I yawn, it's not me. It's not you. It's me because I'm tired.
I'll probably be
So
yawning too.
all apologies to everyone. Really quick, Derek, hello, good morning, welcome.
Oh, hello there.
And Oz has popped. Oh,
Well,
see, I
there he
almost
goes.
I
Oz, he
almost went.
just hit his milestone there. Yes,
Yeah,
congratulations once again.
yeah, congrats, Oz. I unfortunately, because I'm all over the map these days, was not able to join in for that celebration. We will make it up though once.
Well, I hung out in the chat a little bit before I had to go out there.
Yeah,
Uh, Fortunately, I I arrived home a bit later than I thought. So yes,
wow, it's pretty exciting. Like Oz, is like sort of the cornerstone of our little community. So it's amazing he made that first milestone. And we're gonna all sort of chip in.
he's the glue that holds everybody together and so
Yeah,
forth.
he is. And so we're gonna and double down and get him to those next milestones so that he can achieve full YouTubery because most of us would not be doing as well as we're doing on here, if not for his support and his encouragement. So definitely need to, I'm a big proponent or fan. I'm just gonna say a big fan. Words are hard this morning, guys, and if I misuse the word, it's because I'm tired. And synapses aren't firing correctly, but I was gonna say proponent, and then I'm like, I don't know if that's the right word for what I'm saying, but I'm a big fan of paying it forward, and if somebody helps you, helping them and helping others. So, and Oz has helped a lot of us. I still bounce ideas off Oz.
I might be a bit tired there myself. Yes, with all the
Yeah,
computers blaring and alerting me all night long because of
yeah,
Roy Wowers dropping the art for a modulock there.
yeah.
So yes,
That was, that art is really exciting to me because is what I really liked is there are at least two brand new characters, that have never been made as figures that draw from a couple different sources, Axel art among them. So that's cool to me. And also it's really cool because, there's some Princess of Power deep dives on there. And not all of them are Filmation. Like obviously Pantara is, like a Filmation character. And
yes,
Granita. Oh,
not a
sorry.
lot of the characters appeared in the
Yeah.
cartoons, of course. I
Yeah. So
believe
it was cool that,
Skeeter was another one.
yeah. So it looks like maybe next year, because they're talking about next year being the year of the Horde. It looks like they might do with the Horde like they've been doing with the Snake Men, where they bring a lot of the unproduced vintage concepts and a lot of Axel's sort of creations. Like making some of the old concepts and some of the little side characters from mini comics and stuff into actually fully fleshed characters. So I'm excited for that. And if they can give us some Shira stuff, extra exciting.
Oh
So
yes, I see they've waited till the cartoon collection for them to bring out more She-Ra characters there.
yeah, and I kind of once realized that the Shira anniversary was coming up, and then they announced a cartoon collection. I'm like, oh, they're gonna wait. It makes sense from a synergy point of view, honestly, to like sort of wait um until the year of Shira. Like they sort of like the 40th anniversary of Masters of the Universe, they did a bunch of stuff that was very specific to like that first year.
And yes, it'd be nice if they do because I understand that the all the rights and all that jazz on Earth there gets a bit a hickory pickory at the best of times.
Well, I think some of it is, they own the right. Mattel owns the rights to the toy versions, but I think because there's such at times, and more so online than like if you were to actually talk to fans who aren't online all the time. There are a lot of people who are very vitriolic about, sort of the doll, like Princess of Power were dolls. They killed He-Man, which that's not
What?
actually kind of what happened. Like what killed He-Man was the oversaturation of the line. They went big, they went fast, and then kids burned out on it. It was hard to find He-Man. You couldn't really build a proper collection because you couldn't find you could get Flying Fist He-Man, but that wasn't really like He-Man. So like, and some of it was just like there was a lot of like, so in a way She-Ra contributed because she was like a spin-off line, but it wasn't the existence of She-Ra over in the girls aisle. It was just they flooded the market with product. They shipped too much product, and then it was not He-Man and Skeletor.
Because of
It's
course
fine.
it's quite easy to find the vintage stuff nowadays.
Yeah,
It's quite a good supply of it.
yeah, because they made so much of it.
Which is completely different to Origins when you're struggling to
Yeah.
find this and that and what
Well,
have you.
what's been interesting, I've noticed over the last year, so there are a lot of people who are getting out of Origins And I've noticed, like, if you follow eBay, some of the characters that were really hard to find for a while suddenly are cropping up because all these people who were all in, who bought like 70 Triclops or whatever, are just selling them off.
Yeah, yeah.
But because they've released some of these characters as
Yes,
fan
in the fan favorite
favorites,
ways, they've done some reissues there, so that's
yeah, some of those
probably changed the
characters,
plans of all these scalpers and third party
yeah,
sellers.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's been interesting to watch all those, some of those hard, like Web Store, Triclops, a lot of those hard to find figures. It's been interesting to watch sort of the market and fall out on the scalper side of it. Yeah, and I've got, like I've got 2 or 3 Triclops, but of course my 2 or 3 Triclops are so that I can make
Yes,
custom
the
variants.
first Origins, the first Origins Triclops I got, he was quite an expensive fellow. I paid 180 gold in that and Eternian.
Hmm.
But yes, I managed to get one that of the fan favorites. Of course, the shop over here
Nice.
started bringing in a few of the Turtles of Grayskull and then some Origins, and so yes, I ended up getting a Orko and a cartoon collection Evil Lyn and another
Yeah,
Triclops there.
yeah.
But
I'm.
yes, I have noticed a lot of people selling their Origins collections over here too. So
Yeah, I think
who knows really?
I don't know. It's weird. Collecting is weird. I've started collecting again in like 1995 with Power of the Force 2. That was like my adult toy collecting. Um, I just got out of college. I had like a full time. It was at Blockbuster. It's not like it was a high paying job, but like it made it for the time based on what my expenses were. I made good money. Like I was in
Yeah.
management. I made good money. I was able to, and I didn't have cost of living at that point was a lot different. I was in a southern state where the cost of living was also much lower. It's still pretty low where I grew up and where I was living at the time. So I would have way more toys if I still lived there. I just the South and me, not so much right now. Um, Plus, I am horribly. This sounds. It makes me sound like a vampire or something. I'm just a ginger, but I'm horribly allergic to sunlight. So, like, if I'm out in the sun too long, I
Oh,
get actual blisters. On my, I'll get. It takes a while. It has to be really hot. So up in the
oh,
Pacific
right.
Northwest,
Oh,
it's okay. But even this last few weeks, as I've been driving back and forth and in a car for many hours with sunlight on my face, even with sunblock, I've the side of my face facing the sun, I've gotten like little blisters and spots. So anyway, like that's too much about me. Thank you, internet. Now you know. But yeah, so anyway, that was the tangent. But yeah, so when I lived in the South, I bought too much. But even back then, I noticed among collectors there was this thing where, um, like a toy line would end or whatever, or it just got to a point. Like I had a friend who had every Toy Biz figure for like Marvel, all the X-Men, and he reached a point where it was like during the Water Blasters phase where they had like all the water toys and stuff where he's like, it's just too much, I can't keep up and I'm not enjoying them, so he just sold everything and then went
oh.
and started collecting something else. So I think there's just a certain brand of collector when it's no longer fun, they especially.
Yes, I've seen that a bit too. With all the struggle it has been, and people have just have been throwing in the towel there and what have
Yeah,
you. I'm not going to fuss myself with collecting every single cartoon collection figure because they'll be basically doubling up on what I already have with
mhm.
Origins, and one does not have the room. So I've like I was going to do originally. I was going to get He-Man and Skeletor on Origins, but then
Yeah,
one thing leads to another. But yes, I have to
right.
put down a bit more this time.
Yeah, for me, Origins originally, I was gonna get, like Attila and Evelyn. That was, and any female figure that came out. I was like, that's my, because that's most of my collection is just that. I get the ladies and I put them on my shelf of amazing lady action figures. But it was during pandemic, and they were Walmart exclusives here in the States for a really long time. And then they all popped up on Amazon, and they were like, normal at the time they were selling for like $14.99, but whoever was selling them had them on sale for like $12.99. And so I got all of Wave 1. I went and ordered them all, like He-Man, Skeletor, Beastman, Man-at-Arms, Tila, Evelyn, because that was all that was available at the time. And as kids, like my brother had my first two Motu figures as a kid were Tila and Zodak. And then it was like Evelyn and Manny Faces and like I didn't have, he had all of them. Like my mom got him the entire first 4 figures. And it was weird because, like I had never had those as kids. So whenever I got, and because it's Amazon and they're not actually often the same people, they showed up in waves, so the first one I got was Beastman. And since I had never had a Beastman as a kid, there was this weird thing that happened when I opened that figure where it was like, it was kind of like childhood, and you would get, so it hit really hard in the like nostalgia for me. Like it was my first Beastman. It was actually my first Beastman figure. It was my first Man-at-Arms. So it was really just this weird experience. And then I was just like, I'm all in. I want them all. I must have them all because suddenly. So yeah. Hello, Alex. Lovely to see you. Thank you for popping in.
Oh,
hello
Nolan.
There. We've officially arrived.
Nolan with the Nolan. Yes.
And then Rhea, my favorite, is here.
Hello.
Yeah. So, yep. We've officially arrived. Nolan is here. Rhea. I have to say it both ways because I'm a big fan of Greek mythology and, the Queen of the Titans. And if you've read any DC comics, she at one point was the mom of the character Lilith in the Teen Titans, and then later she was one of Donna Troy, aka Wonder Girl's benefactors. So yeah. Anyway, I'm also a big comic book nerd. What happens when you're a weird fat kid in the South? You read comics and enjoy action figures. And then you grow up and you still enjoy comics and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I see the toys today are a bit far off from what we used to have as tots, or just carved wood animals and and things like that.
It's odd, like, because especially the circles we run in, there are a lot of conversations about kids just don't play with toys anymore. And they do. Kids play with toys. I see every time I go looking for, like last night on the way back, I stopped at a Walmart just to see what they had. They had nothing, people. They had nothing. It was the worst. But
they're all being cleaned out, have they?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they had a bunch of stuff I didn't care about. And there were like kids buying toys. They just weren't buying our toys. They weren't buying like action figures and.
Yes, I mean, what parents going to spend, up to $70 on a single action figure?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I think, and I take that back slightly. There was a kid, but he was getting a wrestling figure, and it was like some new wrestler. I don't follow wrestling, so I don't know who any of them are. But it's obviously a new person, so he was like, it was his favorite wrestler, and I was having that thing where it's like we always talk about kids just don't buy action, toys, and it's like they don't buy action figures. Like we bought action figures, and I think that's okay. I think actually a lot of us would be happier if we just accepted that like the thing we like is fine, and the kids are probably never going to be into it, and we just enjoy it.
Yes, it's all about the computer games now. And,
Yeah, and a lot of the toys were like, it was like Fortnite stuff, or not even Fortnite, because those toys said it's like Yeah, but not even action figures, toys of that stuff. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. But I was also not weirded out by it. Like there was a time where I would have been like, oh my God, what's happening? But I'm not kind of just like, if the kids aren't into our stuff, that's fine. Like, that means when we all start dying, they won't know what this stuff is worth. And when I want to fill out and finish collections, I'll be able to get it cheaply on eBay when your kids sell it, not knowing what the hell they have. So I'm all for it. I'm all for getting, like the last bit of strawberry shortcake furniture I need from a very happy home for bargain basement prices because your daughter doesn't know how much it's worth, Brenda. And she doesn't care. She just wants a god. So anyway.
Yes, I just dropped off a whole bunch of vintage She-Ra figures
Oh,
and a few vintage My Little Ponies to my niece there
yeah.
yesterday.
Well,
And
see,
so
like,
those are a few that Cheryl from Richard Bacon. She was
yeah,
helping a friend clear out her inventory from her collector's store. Of course, she'd been diagnosed with terminal cancer, which was sad news. So yes, so she
yeah,
asked me if I'd be interested in taking any of the ponies for my niece there,
yeah.
and yes, so
I was,
she washed the hair and everything to
yeah.
make it look nice and fresh. And yes, yeah.
I will say, I feel like My Little Pony is a toy line that like kids probably would like because it's sort of very much a kid's toy. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, I know there are a lot of adults who like My Little Pony, and we're not going to talk about those people today. Cannot. Not today. Uh oh. Hello, Andrew. Urgent Sunday things, which means brunch, champagne, and naps.
Oh
Hello,
yes.
Mint with Card. Thank you. We
Hello
appreciate
there.
you popping in. Lovely to see you. Yeah, right. And that's the worst when you don't know who the body in the corner is because then you're not sure where you can leave it so that it won't chase back to you. So
All right.
definitely find their phone and go through it to figure out who they are and where they live. And don't leave the body anywhere near where they live. Because you don't want that. You need successfully getting away with dumping a body involves making sure nobody finds it, and if they do, it
Oh,
takes a long time to identify it. So
oh
also, if
yes.
you can bury it in some place where it's like endangered species of flower or plant, they're way more less likely to dig that up. So
I see. Yeah.
not that I've ever had to hide a body. I'm just saying.
Oh
And you
yes. Yeah.
can't prove it. So anyway. uh,
Pays to be prepared for every situation, I guess.
There are some people you call when you need to move, and there are people you call when you need to move a body. Figure out which one I am and
Oh really?
act appropriately. I mean, what
Just when I
happens
thought
in Vegas,
just when I thought I knew everything.
what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas as long as you properly clean up the blood spatter.
Oh
So,
my.
all right, very good. All right, we're caught up
I'm
on
gonna start
chat.
coloring. Just adding in all my shading.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's shading. It's funny because, like when I started back at this, I was like, my coloring, it's always so flat. And then I just realized it's all about the shading. Like that's really all that is sort of different from when you're a kid. Like when you're a kid,
And
you just color everything.
sometimes you have to press so heavily on your
Mhm.
pencils to get a darker area. You can just do a bit of shading
Yeah,
there beforehand, as Eldor Bob would tell me.
I've started to enjoy putting down a base color where it is sort of really light. Sometimes not even. Like often if I want to do green, I'll go in with like a like yellow chartreuse, which is like a greenish yellow, but pretty bright. But then it's really
Oh,
easy to build the darker colors on top of that. And then you still have sort of that light coming from inside of it so that it's still really nice and bright and pops. So as I do this longer, you sort of start figuring stuff out that works for me. So if you had told me when I started doing a YouTube channel and I was like, I'll do a coloring page here and there and some coloring book story stuff, that it would end up being one of the main things I'm doing on my channel, I would not have believed you. But I have to say, like, it's of the stuff I do, it's it's fun to sort of sit here with you or whoever is sitting here on the other side of the camera and just sort of be nerds. Get to be nerds and talk about nerd stuff. It's fun. So, and you, because of the way everything has worked out, you're going to be my only guest this month. So it's Eldor October, guys. So.
And I believe you're close to finishing this coloring book.
I'm getting there. Like I wanted, my goal for 2024 was to, because it's a 1984 coloring book, 40 years, was to do the whole thing, and I'm pretty close. I need to, later tonight, I have some shorts to film for November so that I don't have to do any work the first 3 weeks we're in the new house. I mean, I'll have to edit, but I won't have to film anything for like 3 weeks, which is good because, I have to find the boxes where all the camera stuff and all the pencils and, unpacking is an ordeal.
The finding is always a hard part of moving.
Yeah, it's like archaeology, but it's your stuff. And then you're like, but this isn't the one I wanted.
Because I find what helps me most if I've had to move, which has been several times. The last move was, of course, coming back into Castle Grayskull there after I retook a corporeal form. And as soon as it appears to every trick I did was I used this peculiar stuff called masking tape from Earth. Just stuck them on the box and wrote what's on it. So yes, that can help sometimes if it stays on. It is.
Right. Hi, Augustus. So I do want to let everyone know I have a very sassy cat. Yeah, you're on the internet, sir, being a fool. So just know when they cancel you, it's because you earned it.
Like Sheldon's cat there, Assassin.
Well, it's just all of his favorite places have disappeared.
All right.
Yes, I know. All of your favorite places are gone, my love. And then and Matt, the other human who is normally here, is at the house getting stuff ready for all of us. So he hasn't seen Matt in about, I know Matt, in about 2 weeks. Sir. Yeah, you've been too noisy. You have to be on camera now. Say hello, Augustus.
Hello there.
Say hello to the people on the internet.
Who's a good kitty?
Yeah. He's my Gus Bus.
Well, that's what Kitty needed. A bit of a cuddle.
Oh my God. Part of it is just I think he needs love and he needs people to realize I am the king. Oh, look at that.
Yes,
everyone on the internet loves you, sir. All right, be quiet and sit on my art table because you're going to have to move later when it's time to do some Care Bears.
Yes, the poor thing's not going to know itself in the new place here. I understand people usually leave their cats inside for about 5 to 6 weeks. So it gets the lay of the land before they start letting them outside and all this sort of thing.
Well, it's because of where we live. Like we're really close to a highway, so that he doesn't get to be an outdoor kitty. And we're moving to a smaller town that apparently has a coyote problem. But we've already, just in the little time I've been down there and the time Matt's been there, we have many stray cats that live in our yard, or like show up and hang out in our yard. But we're gonna get these guys a catio for the backyard, which will be an enclosure, so they can go outside but not run off and not sort of get disease or eat rabid rats or whatever. So overprotective helicopter parenting at its finest. And then Andrew did bring up a valid point. Where's it at? Oh, yes. Now the suspense is going to be regular, pink, white, or Egyptian sorceress. And that is true. Which sorceress will it be? Last time I did a sorceress page from this book, I did her in blue and gold. I don't know if everyone has seen the sorceress costume from the Power Tour the like that skating ice skating thing from the 70s. I mean from the 80s. I did sort of like a blue and gold motif for her, sort of inspired by that because I think it's kind of a cool look. Andrew joined me for a live stream coloring the sorceress at one point, and I did pink. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I did the last short I did of sorceress. I did her in her formation colors. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Just because. I would like
Indeed.
to do it a little different. And at the time they did this book, her look wasn't as finalized as it became. So, yeah, like there's another page in this book where it's just basically the page of it was the one I did in the skating look, where it's basically like that page from the mini comic where the goddess uses her magic to like open the door so they can get to Skeletor and Grayskull. And it's just that, but they've put this sorceress in the place. So it was at the point where they were sort of rewriting the lore a little bit. So that's one of the reasons I chose this coloring book and I like it, is because it's this in-between phase of Masters of the Universe between Wave 1 mini comics. It's like pre-filmation, but also as they're grafting filmation on over it. So it's pretty interesting. Like that's a lot of my motu, and not anyone who watches this channel regularly or has chatted with me knows Filmation isn't my preferred Masters of the Universe. It's fine. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite. My favorite is Wave 1 mini comics and sort of this in-between time when it was still... I'm not as big a fan of the Prince Adam concept. It's too Superman. And the fact that DC Comics sort of helped cement that whenever they were writing the mini comics.
Yeah, so that's the thing. That's the factor that drives most of these superhero franchises nowadays, like your Power Ranger fellows and ladies and what have you. It's the transformation gimmick.
Yeah.
They guess that catches the children.
And
nowadays.
And I think He-Man was one of the first things I remember where it was like Wonder Woman on TV doing her big spin, and then He-Man and She-Ra. Like those are the sort of...
I saw that the other day there. I wondered, doesn't she get dizzy doing that?
Right. Yeah, it's the Wonder Spin. And that they came up with on the TV show because in the comic book, Wonder Woman uses her lasso. She spins it really fast, and then it goes over her, and through chemicals in her clothes, it transforms her clothes into her uniform. Because Amazon science, and but they couldn't. Obviously, would have required Linda Carter to know rope tricks, or, well, like lasso rope tricks, not the other kind, like in 7 Shades of Grey or whatever that book was. 9 Shades of Grey.
Mind you, the old Supergirl had it rather easy. She could just duck behind a tree, and there she was.
Supergirl had that. She had it easy, but not. She also had that pocket in her cape where she had to hide the brown wig because she was Linda Danvers back in the day.
True.
And then right before Crisis on Infinite Earths, she figured out through Kryptonian science a way to make a special comb and then charged her hair with electrons so she could use her comb and transform from brown-haired Linda to blonde-haired Supergirl. And that's when she got that perm. So whatever she did with the electrons is what made her hair all curly. And that was
she had there was a good head of hair in that wig too.
Yeah, like that's what, like I used to play with wigs for a while. When I was going through some stuff and some of my hair fell out and it was super thin, it looks like garbage. So I got some wigs, and even with like my thin falling out and clumped hair happening, it's still like the wig was really, she's a Supergirl, so I'm gonna assume like the superpowers of it. So that is right where this pencil case is supposed to go, but okay, you're cute, I'll let you live. Sir, drama. So much drama.
Well,
Yeah.
that reminds me. I've noticed you using what was it, a color chart or something. You're
Yeah, not.
coloring in the squares. What's all that made of?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't have a color. It's not a color. It's this is my one of my moving gifts was I was trying to get all of my pencils together, so I bought this super fancy pencil case, and I've just put all of. And I used to have like 20 different sets of Prismacolors, so I just put all of them in here. So.
Oh no! I was
Oh.
referring to it. You had a sheet of paper or something. It had little squares, the series of squares. And
Oh,
I think
yeah.
you were
There.
coloring in them in. That looked
Yeah.
rather interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting
Actually,
there.
I've got. Yeah. The not right here, right at this moment, but yeah, I've got a couple. Back when I
So
started, I
what
would.
do you
Yeah, I
test
would
out your
swatch them
blending
out.
or something?
Yeah, I used to swatch out a lot. I've got swatches around. I don't tend to use swatches anymore. I'll swatch a pencil
Oh,
set, a brand new one when I first get it, just to sort of see what it looks like. Because especially with some of the, like Prismacolor, like if you're using, say, Canary Yellow, it's not the same Canary Yellow in a different set, even if it's called Canary Yellow. Theirs might be not as bright or super bright. Um, so I swatch them out when I first get them just to see what they can do. But I usually just do that in the beginning and then don't worry about it so much. The swatch is just so that I can sort of get a sense of it. I've got a few videos coming up with some swatching in it because I got it's over here. Everything's a mess over here, so we're not gonna dig too much out while I'm trying to get everything organized to pack the art table. But but I sort of swatched. I opened those sort of on camera and swatched them out and filmed it and stick them at the beginning of the videos of me trying those sets. Which I need to finish editing, and I will at some point. There's just so much happening. I've got
oh,
like 4 or 5 long form videos that are, like all the film. It just has to edit them together and, do. One of them needs a voiceover, which takes forever. So, but anyways, you guys will have lots of
video
content.
editing is always the tedious part, I find,
Yeah,
and finding the time to do it. Yes, it's been a while since I've done any thing on my channel because I've become so busy there. Of
yeah,
course, amongst elder duties there and commitments and also a couple of commission jobs, odd jobs that I'm doing there for others, and then trying to do my stuff. And yes, I'm still alive there. In other words, I just need to
yeah,
find time to get back on the YouTube and.
yeah. It gets hard. Like there's so much to do, and okay, we're good for a while, guys. Gus is on neighborhood watch.
Oh, jolly
We
good.
have a very odd church behind us that does really weird. If you guys hear weird singing and chanting, I'm okay. It's just the church.
Oh, all
Um,
right.
like they stopped knocking on our door after the first time. I was like, yeah, I'm not interested. I gave it the office. And they're like, what office is that? I'm like, I can't tell you or I'd have to hide the body. And they did not come back after that. So, um, you know,
So it sounds peculiar, much like Axion Fig's encounter out in the woods. There, they stumbled
yeah,
across a
yeah,
fellow
again,
dressed in robes.
I grew up in the South. I grew up with evangelical family. I grew up around some pretty extreme people, and so it's
Mm.
technically not. It's not like scary weird. It's just like I don't understand what you guys are doing with that water tank, and that doesn't look like any sort of baptism I've ever seen. But whatever. If they're happy and they're not hurt, and they're not coming to my door anymore after I scared them off, so we're good.
Oh, yes.
So. But yeah, but just if you guys hear weird chanting, I'm fine, and they should be
I'm
fine.
sure.
Nobody,
I'm sure it's nothing compared to what we hear out here
yeah,
in
probably not.
Eternia sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's never like a evil in disguise to somebody doing a chant to resurrect an
Yeah.
eldritch god, or yeah. So it's nothing like that. It's just if you're wondering what that is in the
Ooh,
background and why every so often
if you heard a snap, that was my back. Ooh,
yeah,
we
there's a big
dropped,
giant splash or
dropped, a,
whatever.
dropped,
It's fine.
dropped a pencil on the floor there. Ooh.
And besides, Gus is on it. He's doing neighborhood watch and making sure nothing too weird happens.
Oh,
Although
yes,
I will,
does he stand up by the window there?
yeah, he's right
So
in
he's
the
not so
window
good.
watching everything. There used to before the weird churches back there. It was a construction company there, and when they would be out in the morning loading the truck and crashing, he would get up in the window and growl at them.
Oh, yeah.
And just like grrr. It's anytime anybody knocks on the door, Augustus growls at them. Every time we get a grocery delivery or Amazon brings something to the door and knocks, he goes grrr. So he's a
Yeah,
good little guy.
sounds like he does better than most dogs do.
Oh yeah, he's built like a pug. Like he's part Manx cat. He has no tail and he's thick and he walks like a pug. And I don't know if what kind of species you have in Eternia, but I used to, when I was a little younger in my 20s, I had a potbelly pig. And when Gus gets barreling through the room, he runs just like a little potbelly pig. So he's a sweetie. He's just, very angsty right now because Matt's been gone for a couple weeks now and everything's getting put into boxes. And every time I drive a load down to the new place, he's left alone with the other two cats. And then the people I have coming to feed him show up, and he doesn't like them.
Oh,
Well, he's finally starting to like them when now that he realizes these people are bringing him food. So he's like, okay, I'll come out and say hi.
don't bite the hand that feeds you, and so forth.
Yeah, exactly. Which is fine. Like if I wanted an animal that tried to please everyone, I would get another husband. But anyway.
Well, yes, Cringer. Come to think of it,
Yeah.
he gets quite scared 100% of the time, of course.
Hello, Quip. Lovely to see you. Thank you
Oh,
for popping in.
oh,
Hello,
hello there, sir.
and Eldor.
Hmm?
Oh, there you go.
Yes, we got quite a audience here today.
Yeah, I do. We get a nice steady crowd on Sundays. All the cool people show up and chat, and you know, I've got a nice little community on my channel, so it's pretty fun. I don't know. There's not a bad one among them, except Lawrence at a punk with toys. No, just kidding. Speaking of Lawrence, next Saturday I will be on his
Yeah.
channel on Saturday, super effing early, like 8 a.m. my time, so like 11 a.m.
Oh,
Central. He is doing a fundraiser for Toys for Tots in his area. So I'm going to be on his channel. He and I are going to be coloring some Lilo and Stitch. It's not my
okay.
channel. We're not on my channel, so we're not going to color my stuff. We're going to color
Yeah,
something
yeah.
he picked. And he and his daughter used to watch like that movie. I've never seen that movie. I don't tend to watch Disney movies because we opted to not reproduce, except cats, and that's But because of that, I don't have a lot of Disney knowledge. But apparently, Lilo and Stitch is a Disney thing from the last 20 years. So we're gonna color that. And during the stream, there will be a link to the Toys for Tots place that he is working with, so you can donate to them directly. Also, any super chats, super stickers, etc. During that live stream, will go directly to Toys for Tots. And for those of you wondering why are you doing a fundraiser for a Christmas thing in October, the way YouTube pays out is they pay out 30 days after. So for
Yeah.
instance, they pay, I think, on the 21st of each month. So anything he makes from streams on October 26th would pay out on November 21st, which is about the
And of
time
course,
you want it.
you've got to go buy all the toys too. And
Yeah,
stuff like
so
that.
exactly. So we're doing it now so that the money gets there on time. So it's a very long-winded plug, and I will have community page tabs on my community page, I'll have a link to the stream so that you guys can come check it out. Even if you're just watching it, any ad revenue he makes from these streams, he's also donating to Toys for Tots. So just showing up to watch and
Come to
chat.
think of it, though, didn't someone say there was a difference for the YouTube money if you're doing it for charity? Then don't they sort you out a bit more sooner, or do they take less off you? I don't know. One or the
Yeah,
other.
they take a little less if it's for a charity fundraiser. So yeah, definitely, he wants to make sure kids, and it's sort of local to his area. He's in Detroit, which is a hellmouth. So we all know that if you live in a hellmouth, kids need joy. So definitely show up if you can, help however you can. We'll be doing that. So, all right, plug for that is over. But again, I'll be doing a thing on my community tab.
So we got a little
See,
event.
okay, so Quip has a kid, and Quip is like Stitch is big with the kids right now. So there you go.
Oh yeah.
And this is why kids don't
Yes,
buy Masters of the Universe.
we have a little event out this way, where all the fellows in the sky sleds and the road rippers they do a toy a fun run there. So they go flying off through the months of clouds for a little bit, and then they all meet up at a location where they drop off all the toys and that and what have you for a similar type of a system.
Yeah.
Where all the children that are less advantaged, they get a nice Christmas gift or some such.
That's awesome. See, and
And of course, you get a lot of families too, where they might have a family member that's in the dungeons. They've done a few bad life choices there, and so that those kids don't miss out on getting toys.
we talk about this a lot because of reasons, but there was a year when we were kids that my dad got hurt really bad and couldn't work for months. So that year, the Salvation Army was why we had Christmas. So yeah, definitely show up, help however you can. Like, I heard, no, I don't. I'm not even gonna go there because I'm not gonna give assholes any extra time. Just and there may be people who have narratives about, oh my god, whatever, but screw those people. They're miserable ass bandits. So if you can
They
show
don't
up,
really understand, do they? Yeah.
kids are kids and they deserve to have fun and have toys and get a little time to be kids. So
When you're not experienced in struggling and such, it's a little hard for some people to
yeah, and
see these things. Really,
there are also some people who struggle, and because we're fortunate enough to stop struggling, or they didn't get as much help as maybe they could have or felt like they should have. They don't want anyone to have help, and I don't, like I've had some horrible things happen to me, and I'm not gonna make a standard that people need horrible things to happen to them to truly like succeed. Like that's no. Terrible things happen to me, and I don't want them to happen to other people. So yeah, let's fix it so terrible stuff doesn't happen. So if you suffered and nobody helped you, don't turn that into, well, everyone needs to struggle. Turn that into, let me fix it so nobody else has that experience. It's really easy to be compassionate and kind.
yeah.
It's not easy to be nice, but it's easy to be compassionate and kind. So, that was a joke, people. Also, because my joke often is, I'm not a nice person, but I'm a good person. So, but anyway, so that was a very long-winded way of saying I'm going to be on Lawrence's stream next week for charity. So please pop in. I will post some links, and that'll be sort of the last live stream I do this month because I'm moving. So It'll also be the last time like this background is behind me where it is, because the next live stream I do after that will be in my new place. So
Oh yeah.
that'll be exciting. Yeah. I mean, we've got a live stream. I'm going to be joining. Oh, really quick. Let me get all these plugs in while we're here. Later today, I'll be joining Bobby Dangerously. He's celebrating on his channel. So please pop over there. I'll have a link on my community tab shortly for that. And we're going to be hanging out because he does this great detective series. Dexter
Yes, the North Cut. Yes.
Yeah. So
case files there. Yeah.
Yep. So he's doing a live stream today to celebrate YouTube being on YouTube, and I'm going to join. And we're just going to hang out and talk about what he's doing and stuff. And then, of course, Thursday night, the Frenzy is happening, but also Thursday night, myself, Andrew at Gady's Toys, and Derek Hoover of yesterday's podcast, we're going to be breaking down what we liked about New York Comic Con, our favorites, and we're probably going to talk a little bit about Todd McFarlane and superpowers. Because I think we all have some decompression to do around that. So anyway, Thursday night.
Also, brought out the well overdue movie Superman there.
Yeah,
a few mixed reactions to the facial sculpts, but
yeah, there's
that's the thing. Usually with his figures, you have to go to other places to find your better-looking head sculpts, as I did with the Batman fellow that comes with the gold label Batmobile.
McFarlane is I'll say most of this commentary for Thursday, but McFarlane Toys is really interesting to me because it's like, on the one hand, he gives a lot of product, but it's also
it makes me almost wonder if he has licensing, because a lot of these toy companies there to get the license to use the likeness and what have you. So
sometimes
because most of his figures are a lot cheaper than most outfits. So
there are times where it's like his likenesses are oddly off, where it makes me wonder if there are ways he skirts licensing with them. So, I mean likenesses. Like he obviously has a DC license. So I don't know. It's interesting. So we'll be doing some, and there's other stuff that happened at Comic-Con to talk about. So it'll be fun. We did it last month just for the hell of it, actually. Well, it was kind of like the loyal subjects did their mask and their gem announcement, so we kind of all, I think that was the time. Derek and I did a stream without Andrew about San Diego Comic-Con. So anyway,
that mask news from the loyal subjects was rather exciting there.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see what they do with masks. I'm kind of hoping.
No, there were a few unproduced vehicles, as I recall. Adam from Radical Toys, he did a segment looking through the catalogs and so forth.
Yeah, there were a few that didn't make it. And I've got, for anyone who's wondering about that, I've got here on the channel mask wave 1, 2, and 3 videos, and then the Kenner toy catalog for 1988 has split seconds in it, so you can go check that out. So that's here on the channel. But yeah, I'm excited though about that. I know there are some people who are a little iffy, but it just will be cool. And it's really hard to find vintage masks in good condition for good price.
And that's when you call Mr. Toy Ploy there to fix them for you.
Yeah, exactly. And what I have noticed, because I've been getting the strawberry shortcake and the rainbow bright from the loyal subjects. What I have noticed with those is there's been a pretty decent mix of vintaginess with some newness, and character selection so far has been a little bit predictable, but at the same time, yeah, they did plum pudding, so who was, in a costume that was not the one that the vintage toy line had. It was sort of her, because they only did plum pudding as a doll for strawberry shortcake as a party pleaser. And at that point, they had made her a girl, because originally she was a boy character. And then she became a
Oh, I
girl.
see.
So they only did the party pleaser girl plum pudding vintage. So the modern one they did has basically like a regular non-party pleaser outfit. So that was pretty cool, I thought. So if they do stuff like that with Mask, where we get, sort of the main 4 or 5 vehicles that we all remember and we all think about when we think Mask, and throw some fun stuff in there that didn't get made or didn't get made correctly as kids, I think it could be a really strong, fun line.
Speaking of the toy company going a little bit left field, the Nassau Toys showing off their Star Trek figures. Now, normally when you get places like Playmates doing a reissue,
Yeah.
you get the same bridge crew or 5 or so characters, but yes, they decided to go a bit different there and release announce some deep cuts there, I believe you say.
Yeah,
And,
deep cut. And
Captain Garrick and there was someone Preston and
yeah,
we've got two Vics and all this sort of thing going on. So yes,
when that
there's some other characters to add to the collection.
yeah, to me that is what I want. Like that's what I liked about Origins in sort of the beginning. It was like, yeah, we're getting sort of the predictable characters, and like also we got really early on we got Ninja, we got Clamp Champ, like a lot of the later in the line characters who are harder to find. Um, Sort of, and that's kind of what I'm liking about Origins now. Is I am a little, I will echo the sentiments of some people. I am ready for things that are not Snake Men. I'll be happy, like happy, once we move into the Horde, um, just so that we can get some variety and hopefully some She-Ra stuff. But I have enjoyed the deep dives of the Snake Men. I just wish it had been sort of spread out a little bit more with more variety in it. So, but I do feel like part of that is that they've been saving the Horde for next year. So we've gotten sort of basic
We're
Horde
still
stuff.
hoping for more Powers of Grayskull there too. So
Yeah, and
hopefully
I'm
I
thinking,
might pop out there with the hero and then
well,
the
and
dinos there.
sort of looking at what they've done, like we've gotten Powers of Grayskull. Slamurai was originally a Powers of Grayskull character.
Oh yes, yeah.
Um, Terror and Lord Grasp were also sort of Powers of Grayskull era. The whole
And of course,
basically
the plan for the Snake Men back in the
yeah,
Winter's time
basically the
is
entire
they're supposed to be the main villain of Powers of Grayskull originally.
yeah, the entire like sort of 1988 canceled line of characters would have been sort of Powers of Grayskull era because it was He-Man had gone back in time to pre-Eternia and was hanging out with Eldor and Hero, and
Oh yes, yes.
so and we've gotten Slamurai, we've gotten Terror, we've gotten Lord Grasp. They've We've gotten the Snake Horde Trooper, which was also a 88 character. So we're missing Strobo, Plasmar.
Which have both been teased, as I recall.
Yeah, they've teased both of those on cards. I think Plasmar and Terror are the only two, and Eldor, Hero, and then sort of pre-Eternia disguise He-Man. And if you look at some of the Turtles of Grayskull stuff,
Yes, I don't show that side of me often, shall we say?
yeah, there are a couple of pieces of tooling in the Turtles of Grayskull that would really quickly make a pre-Eternia disguise He-Man. And Strobo is just Cyclone and Zodak, and Plasmar is Hero, Squeeze, Rio Blast, and Fisto. So like once Rio Blast is out and Hero comes out, they've got all the parts to make Plasmar. So
That's real
I
boss.
expect, I expect we will see those pretty soon. All right, so yeah, now all that's left is kind of the sorceress, and I'm trying to figure out what color scheme I should go with.
Yes, I'm trying to pick up the pace there myself.
Oh, we're doing all right. We're an hour in, so I usually go about 2 hours. So we've
Yes,
got time.
speaking of my teas there,
No, you don't need to pick up the pace. Color at
looking a
your
bit trapped,
leisure.
looking a bit trapped and facing off against a Viper. That's one scene I plan to do in my snake layer playset, of course. In the
And
third one,
really,
there have a couple of chains on the ground there, so you can chain someone up and have old Viper look intimidating in front of you and so on.
really quick, hello, Rolando. I had your
Oh,
comment up on
Rolando.
the screen, but I just
Oh,
wanted to say
hello,
hello
chap.
with actual paint. We were just in a little groove of convo, so I don't want to interrupt it. Exactly, Andrew. Exactly. Yeah, like I can't wait to see it. All I've heard is that people are saying it's odd and weird in a good way. So,
Well, I saw one fellow commenting about Tuvix there. He was like, "Really? Why him?" I said, "Why not?"
and then Alex has a great point here. Yeah. Sulu and Archer are pretty cool. And where's it at? There was a. Exactly. I needed to Paul. So. See, and when I first saw Archer in here, I thought Archer the cartoon. So I want figures for that as well. And yeah, we need a Queen Marlena. I feel like with Queen Marlena, she will probably happen in Cartoon Collection. If she doesn't, I expect we because even if they're not necessarily calling it Origins,
because
yeah,
as they said, they're going to be continuing the rest of Origins as Mattel
yeah. Well,
creation.
I think too, like Origins is going to continue. They may not call it Origins, but like the scale, the 5.5 with the interchangeable pieces, that's going to continue.
Yes,
The Cartoon Collection, they've introduced some new tooling, but it's still basically the same. All those parts you can exchange with each other. So I feel like they're going to continue the scale, even if it's not called Origins. And I do expect that we will see probably a proper 2000X series of figures, and I feel like definitely we'll get Marlena there.
It would be nice to get more 2000X and Masterverse.
Yeah.
Too. They had some very nice designs when the
Yeah.
original toys are coming out. The statue.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and there are a lot of characters who only were created in that 2000XM Mike Young Productions cartoon that it would be really cool to like see in 5.5 with the extra articulation. So I am hopeful that we will see
Also,
those.
I've got a few of those in my collection now. But they don't pop up as readily as most of the vintage stuff for sale. So you've got to keep your eye on the lookout there.
All right. So I have not decided what color to go with for her outfit, but I'm gonna give her do her bird face while I try to figure out what I should do for the actual outfit.
Yes, when I was still making my sorcerer statue,
Yeah.
about putting my own design ideas into it, and sort of had like a broken up of her blue bodysuit,
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
which I see who is it? The Twitter head or one of those outfits. They just released their sorceress, and it's a similar thing. But I was going to do the sort of a collar around the neck, but it was just going to be too much detail, because there's going to be that, and then of course the necklace which links the two halves of the blue bodysuit, that sort of make up a little bit of a collar sleeve on the shoulders there.
Yeah.
But I decided just to go with that and leave out the collar around the neck, which was going to be linked to the wee gold loops that, of course, that tie the bodysuit into.
All right. So I'm going to use a blue glitter pen for these eyes.
Oh, that sounds fancy. Hmm?
Yeah, get a little fancy with it. All right, there we go.
Of course, if I really wanted to get fancy, I could use water with these pencils there.
Yeah,
The watercolor variety.
if you want to get fancy.
Yes, get a
I
little bit of that
support
water.
you.
I have a little bit of water there. I have from the Crystal Sea, of course.
Yeah.
Nice and pure and fresh.
Oh, okay. So yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go with shades of blue for her. I think that kind of is what is feeling like it would be fun. So. I'm gonna use like some. I've got it's called peacock blue, so I'm gonna use that for a bunch of for parts of her outfit. I think
Oh, it sounds nice. Yeah?
just to have some sort of traditional coloring, but also just have fun with it because this is before filmation was fully done, so I can play with it a little bit.
Yes, indeed. The outfits changed quite a bit there with the comics, and then the cartoons, what have you. You have the Temple of Darkness sorcerers, of course, which is all white uniform, and yes, I believe Tila even changed there from time to time.
Yeah, in the mini comics, she was. There was a phase where like she was.
And then she had the snake armor, of course.
Yeah, but also even in the mini comics after filmation, there was a few mini comics where her outfit was the sort of filmation look of it, but it was pink. And then there's one mini comic where they have her with like long brown hair and like a yellow jumpsuit. So she was a little bit all over the place. I made a custom of that Tila in the yellow, and I call that Leela, which briefly when they were developing She-Ra, it was going to be Tila's twin sister Leela. The brown haired Tila custom I make, I call Leela. That's Tila's sister because it just looks too different to be Tila. So, all right, there we go. Got the peacock. Yep, I'm liking this peacock. I'm gonna use the dark for the boot tops. And then, all right, there we go. And figured out the wings. It's always the wings are always sort of the trick, I think. But I think I figured them out. Are they not doing anything weird, Gus? He just meowed at them and he's now sulking off. They're not interesting enough for him today, but that's fine.
Yeah, I think I might start at the dark.
I think this is the first time he's actually tried to. He's been over here other than the one time he came up and thumped the camera because he was ready to eat.
All right. Oh yes, speaking of animals thumping, yes, I saw a video of the Gatelin Ray, the little capuchin monkey, I believe we call it. Yes, when she wants her drink or food, she hits her hands on the bench or on the sofa there and makes a little drum beat. She's wanting the one I saw today, yesterday rather. She's wanting her daddy's drink, and he was on the couch sipping on his, I don't know, juice, I suppose. And she was, giving her a thump, and so he eventually caved, and gave her a little sip out of his cup there.
Oh,
She likes the whipped cream too, so she gets a wee bowl out from the cupboard, and
all right. I apologize. I'm not sure how I missed this. Thank you, Jared Kuva, for the $1.99 super chat. So,
oh, you're shutting an ice cream there.
Yep, that'll be. Hey, every little bit counts. So, yep. Thank you, Jared, and I apologize. I just saw that.
Yeah.
And it pops up as starred, and then I have to look at the starred. So.
Sounds fairly complicated.
Yeah, well, it's StreamYard, so everything's a little bit complicated for no good reason. So.
Yes, so today when I was setting up my color cam there, he was saying it wasn't working or something, and I had to go and try it on another web browser there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that is
first
very.
time I struck that, mind you, other times it just works straight away, but something's changed.
They did some weird change a couple months ago, and after that, I have even to get the camera that's on my page in, I have to sort of sneak in through the back door and pretend that it's not me, because I think it's just that they want you to pay more money to be able to have two cameras, because it's not a problem for like the highest level of StreamYard to do that, but for the lower levels, it won't really let you unless you figure out a way around it, which I did. This is why it's useful to have multiple different browsers on your computer and your phone and different accounts. So anyway, there are a couple of I'm going to be looking at. They also did a pretty significant price increase this month that, frankly, I don't feel is warranted for what the service is. But with all the moving and stuff, I didn't have time to properly investigate alternatives.
The old text man twice again, is it?
Yeah, it's twice the. Hi, Gus. I told you not to try to climb on that. He just tried to climb on an empty shelf, and the shelf.
Yes, I find that with the Castle Grayskull cat.
Yeah, right.
Try to stop them from jumping up on the shelves, and you
when
think,
he was like,
"Oh, yes, I'll put a few things there." So he'd be like, "Oh, hang on, that would be a land," but they still do. They don't seem to have any depth perception and so forth.
When he was a kitten, I set up my Origins Grayskull, and I had it closed, but I had the drawbridge was opened. Drawbridge, I keep saying jawbridge, was open, and he climbed.
Don't worry, I do that all the time myself, and I live at the place.
Yeah, he climbed in there because he was at the time small enough to fit, and I had to open it up and pry him out of the inside, and he was not happy because he was like, "I like it in here. It's closed." And so, but he's just worked up.
The old cats love their hideouts there.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of it. You have to check all your moving boxes there. So,
yeah, he's got normally like 17 favorite hiding places here, and he's down to like 4 because as I pack stuff up and move stuff around, and we've given some stuff away, like he has fewer places to hide. So, it's moving is traumatic for humans, but also for animals. So I get it. It's just, I literally told him this morning, like, don't climb on there. Those are going to fall. And there they went. So as if he can actually, oh. All right. It rolled my camera. It keeps doing that for some reason. I'm not sure why. Yeah.
Oh, that's me there. Right.
Yeah, StreamYard just rolled my camera, which it does from time to time. Because StreamYard, you complain, they're like, "Oh, we'll give you something to complain about."
which of course is a different story when they're advertising about themselves.
Right. Yeah, they're
It's like
like,
the supermarket here, Pack and Save. Uh, uh, our policy, attorney is lowest food prices, and of course, when you go in there, you're paying up to $8 for eggs, and
oh my
you
gosh.
know, $6 for M&Ms.
Is it, I would assume that foods that have to be exported to Eternia are more spendy than like local,
Yes,
or is that not
they're
true?
making the customers they're forwarding the cost of space trucking and whatever
Yeah.
craft they use, like Mr. Postal there. All the prices are upped on fuel and what have you, and of course, with new laws in there, how they farm the chickens, they've banned all the horrible battery farms, yes, and
Yeah.
colony farms and what have you. About time, really, but yes, now they're having to rebuild new facilities and
Ah,
such, and that's what's driven up the prices of the eggs.
right, because there are fewer um, outlets to get them from while all
Mm,
that happens.
they're thereabouts here.
Sounds a little bit like they put the chicken before the egg in that one. So,
But then, of course, we had a bit of a fire there, which burnt down one of the henneries or something.
yeah.
Yes, I'm sure someone had quite a bit of a KFC to go through on that one. But of course, yes, you have to wait for the chickens to regrow and they get back up to capacity where they can lay the eggs, and as they do.
Really quick, let me answer Crip's question. So the moving truck for all the big stuff comes in like 8 or 9 days. So like the last week of October is when the moving truck comes for the big stuff. And that's and after they leave with all the big stuff, I'm putting all the cats in the car and then we're driving, and that's the first real night in the new place. Um, so yeah, Matt is down there right now getting it ready for us. I needed a few improvements before we could move in. So
Mm.
unfortunately, my big fancy studio won't be ready when we move in, but I do have a nice temporary space in our extra bedroom that I'll be broadcasting from. So it'll definitely be a new setup, my first stream. Let's see. So yeah, Thursday. Well, in a little while, I'll be on Bobby Dangerously's channel. And then Thursday we'll doing Retro Cavalcade, aka the Rural Juror. And then
I
Saturday,
always miss out on Bobby Dangerous these premieres there, but I find I have to
yeah,
catch up quite a bit too. So hopefully I can sit in a few of his actual premieres there. Of course,
I
I've been missing out a lot on Duchess of Darkness too, because
yeah, she, I
because the tech tracks for the elderly changed their time on me. So they used to pick me up in the morning. Now it's around the time when they do all their shows. And yeah.
yeah, I'm behind on this just because I haven't been. I've been trying to catch up. I'm still a couple episodes behind on Duchess's Halloween offerings, but I'll get there. Let's see. Oh, back to so first full week of November, Quip, is the first time I will be broadcasting from the new place. Um, so close. And then I've got a bunch of pre-recorded stuff that will drop. So there'll be some stuff at the old setup for a couple months. That's pre-recorded, but all the new stuff, all the live stuff, basically will start dropping mid-November. Where I've got a new background, and although I am going to keep this tapestry, I do have a new fancier synthwave backdrop that I'll be setting up in the new place. So be a little different, just to celebrate. Um, yeah, so it's exciting. It's a lot. Um, I read an article that said, one of the most stressful things you can do as an adult is move, and I believe
Uh,
it. Like,
and if you don't do anything in the right order, there you're trying to jump over all the boxes and furniture
Yeah.
and what have you. And so yes, and that's another wee trick. I tend to I thought it'd be the best idea to move all the heavy furniture and the stuff in first and get that all situated. Then you just got the boxes to deal with. But it gets a bit much when you're, in a bit of a landfill there. In other words, trying to get to the bottom of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely going to take a while to unpack, especially because the studio/collection room is going to be a little bit longer to get already.
Oh, it's a
But
bit of a toy room. Toy room, is it?
yeah, yeah, I'm going to have eventually this, like when we get there, the studio is basically just my office is our extra bedroom while we finish. We're
All right.
converting the garage into my office/studio/collection room/library. Basically, so when I do research, I can just go get all of my, walk across the room to the library. It'll be quite fancy,
Oh,
but
that sounds
it's going
nice.
to take a little bit to get everything built out. But we'll get there. But for a while, I'll be from the guest room. But it will be nice because as I unpack, I'll actually have places for everything. Because we're moving really specifically, like, as I put stuff into boxes, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I do have a vintage, like I do have the vintage Kenner Death Star, and I do have, like sort of the Sears Creature Cantina that I bought a reproduction of on eBay. So it's like I'm going to be able to actually finally really display all of sort of my vintage Star Wars and all of my vintage Strawberry Shortcake and my vintage Princess of Power collection.
Did you also go in on the Eternia playset there?
Yeah, I do have. I don't have the original. My original was stored at a property in Louisiana, was wiped out by a hurricane, so it's somewhere under the marsh. But I do have the Mattel Creations one, which has just been in a box since it arrived because we had no room. That was the purchase where I was like, we need to buy a house soon. Because originally I was just gonna take over Matt's TV, or where his gaming area, and then it arrived right when we started having the we should buy a house. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it in a box in the bedroom. So,
but also too with the new set, you won't be too worried about hiding all the tram tracks there.
yeah, right. I'll be. Hopefully they work better than the ones I had as a kid. Ours broke on Christmas morning as a kid.
Oh.
They were brittle. So hopefully, I did open it up and make sure everything.
The other place that's had their issues there, I believe.
Yeah.
Snake Mountain had the breaking handcuffs there.
Well, not only the breaking handcuffs, but Snake Mountain Vintage was just boring. It was just a boring place.
Yes, nothing much on the inside, was there?
Yeah, there wasn't much.
It needed a bit of a sandwich, I think.
It needed something. But I mean, I did open the Eternia to make sure everything was in there because there were a few reports about people not getting all of their stuff in it, but it was all there. So, all right. Let's see. Oh, it's an hour. We still have about 30 minutes left, and I'm almost done. So I'll at least start the Skeletor. I just need the paint of her eyes to dry.
Yes, I'm just about finished there on the wings there of the sorceress. Yes, I got the first of my play features tested out on my Snake Layer playset, which of course was the my idea of using a similar play feature to the Snake Face, the origin Snake Face figure, which had the snakes
see it all done.
So I wasn't sure how it was going to work really, but yes, I made a wee little mock-up out of cardboard and have bent it as I went around wrapping there in the masking tape just to help it keep its shape, and ended up with sort of like a wishbone assembly there, and they just sort of poke out of the eyes. So to sort out how the lever system's going to work on the inside there uh, to make all that work, and because that upper level too is going to be the dungeon, so I'm going to have a jail cell up on that floor, which I'm thinking about maybe using the jail cell that came with the Street Sharks 30th anniversary figures. But I'm not sure yet because I was going to use the spare jail cell from my other Snake Mountain playset to go in my first playset to have two jail cells. But I suppose I could switch between the two of them and still make it work. But, and then, of course, Lady Slither's throne is going to be below that, so not on the front section on the top floor like Mattel had on their revealed Snake Lair playset. So I'm just moving the rooms around a little bit.
I can't wait to see it. I loved your jungle adventure golden goddess playset.
Yes, I'm a bit stuck on that one at the moment, mainly on the putting the archway together.
Yeah.
All the glues that I've bought so far have failed on me. I need to find the proper glue that I think the toy provider fellow uses to weld the styrene parts together. So I'll have to see what type of glue that is, but everything else has been not really that great, sadly. So I put that on the back burner there for a rainy day.
All right. Really quick, I finished mine, so I'm just gonna put her really quick on solo. So yeah, I made her a little sparkly, but blue. So yeah,
it looks good indeed.
There you go. All right. So I finished one. So that's exciting, and I am gonna go ahead and start. I won't finish before we wrap up today, but I'm going to start the Skeletor while we're on stream.
I should be joining you in a few pencil strokes there.
Yeah, don't rush. Just but when you're done, we'll stick you up. We'll stick yours up.
No, it's just doing wonders for the arthritis there.
Yeah, right. People are like, why do you have the glove? I'm like, the glove helps with hand pain. Somebody left a comment and it cracked me up, but I accidentally deleted it. They're like, way to go, Michael Jackson. And I didn't get what they meant at first. And I'm like, oh, they're referring to the glove. And I was just like, whatever. And then I accidentally deleted it trying to pin it. So, unfortunately.
Does it also help with avoiding smudging, like when you're using pencils or something?
Yeah, it helps with, this back of it is pretty smudgy and stuff, but it doesn't smudge the same way your hand does. So it helps with that.
Yes, you have all the oils in your skin, of course.
Yeah. So it helps a lot. Areas. It was sort of the most elegant way to sort of deal with it. Sometimes I have a little brace on underneath it, and sometimes just the added cushion of it helps. If my eczema is bad, my hand is super gross. Because there was a long time I wanted to film videos and wasn't because of the eczema. And then I went to the doctor and he gave me a topical cream. He was like, he was like, just get like those sleeves. Like Avril Lavigne used to wear the sock sleeves. And I was like, oh yeah. And I had it on. I'm like, I could just use this for filming. And then I kind of liked how it looked on camera. So we stick with, but also that way, so it's not, I think it's more jarring as far, because with shorts, people watch your shorts, but they don't necessarily engage with the rest of your content, which I'm not complaining. I'm fine with that. My shorts content is a lot different than my long form content for the most part, so it doesn't bother me that there's some people I've seen who really sort of lose their mind that there's not crossover. I don't mind it. I like having the two different audiences because I get to create sort of two different sort of it's just different formats. It's different. So I like getting to do the different stuff in the two formats. So I'm not complaining about that. But I feel like with shorts it gives it a consistency. And like I'm gonna assume that whenever you're watching a coloring short that pops up and you see the glove, it's my stuff and not somebody else. So it's kind of a motif now. But it started not at all because I needed a motif, but because my skin was broken out pretty bad and it helped with wrist pain.
Right. Yes.
So it was an elegant solution to just like not fun issue.
No, it never is when you break out and you get itchy and blisters and all this sort of thing.
I didn't quit because he was a boy and I was a girl. Could I make it any more obvious?
All right.
Oh well, because of the Avril Lavigne glove, Quip just made a Avril Lavigne reference. So
there was a little bit of a joke there.
Yeah,
Like most things from Earth, they usually go over my head. So I'm learning something new every day.
With the Avril Lavigne lyric. So I forget. Eternia doesn't necessarily have all the references that we get over here. So.
Oh yes, we get a few of the transmissions there every now and then. Some are quite puzzling to look at, and
right.
Ones are quite hilarious, but yeah.
So, but yeah. So.
It took us a while to figure out that Star Trek wasn't actually real.
I can imagine, right? Especially because of how Marlena got there. It seems like it would.
Yes,
it would be confusing.
It can be easily mistaken for actual historical documents, you might say.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. What often confuses me is how, like, the few times you guys come from Eternia to here now, but Marlena arrived in the past, and she was obviously from our future based on the space travel that was available to her when she went looking for Major Matt Mason.
Yes.
So,
well, I live in the future here at the moment, which is part of the reason why I got the times for our live. A bit confused there yesterday.
So that does make sense. But
yesterday was the 20th for us. You see,
it's just I guess
to be in time for Elsa Troy's live there. Then I remembered the old day rule there.
Yeah, I saw the note yesterday from you when I was in the car driving back. I'm like, oh my gosh, I bet he forgot again that we're in the past. At least I'm not in the past with Courtney Cox and that horrible denim jacket and those high tops with the socks. I mean, of all the things that all the trouble that the Eternians had when they came here back in '87. Courtney Cox's fashions, oi.
Yes, let's stay away from Earth next time, I think.
Yeah, definitely. He kind of was. Yeah, Derek, he definitely was a skater boy. And then afterwards, I was like, hey, doctor, I don't like your girlfriend. And then we chased her around the golf course with like our golf. What do you call those? The little things that you hit golf balls with?
Oh, what's that?
The golf clubs. Yes, we chased her with golf clubs, and then she tripped and sprained her ankle and cried, and we felt bad. And I was like, but he's ugly anyway. It's not somebody I want to date, so we're good.
Golf clubs are not a weapon I've heard of. Sorry.
Yeah, right. It's just more Earth references.
Right.
Riffing off on more Avril Lavigne.
More I have to look up on there.
Yeah. Later, go down the Avril Lavigne rabbit hole on YouTube, and half of what we just said will suddenly become more clear. I'll be like, oh, that was the ridiculousness that they were referring to.
I made a boo-boo. I made a boo-boo in the Sorcerer's Cape there.
Yeah.
I've given her red and orange wings. She's got her blue and orange.
It looks really vibrant from here, so I can't wait to.
I might add a little bit of subtle blue in there.
Yeah.
But Eldor Bob says we don't make mistakes, we make happy accidents.
Happy accident, yep. I loved watching him. I will say I tell this story often, so anyone who's hearing it again, I apologize, but I can't. So back in the '90s, I came home from the club, and I had probably had a little bit too much to drink and some of the other stuff we were doing in the '90s. And I got home and I
Mhm.
turned on PBS because it was, we didn't have cable at that point where I was living. So pretty much PBS was all you had. And it was Bob Ross. And he was doing an ocean. He had like cliffs and there were water crashing into the ocean. And it's like a night scene and very dramatic. And
Oh,
he
okay.
was just doing his Bob Ross thing, and he's like, and then do this. He's like, and then you put the wave foam, and it's crashing, and it's a little violence, and there's nothing wrong with a little violence. We all know what a little violence is, right? You come home
And,
too
and
late drinking,
Emma Stone needs a friend.
yeah, and your wife gets a little mad at you, and there's a little violence. There's nothing wrong with that. And I literally was sitting there like, it was just so unexpected that I was like, whoa, did that really just happen? Or so that was the last
Mm.
time I tried that particular substance. I later found that episode, and he did in fact say that. But thanks, Bob Ross. Thanks for making me question my choices in a good way.
Mm.
Nice.
Sounds like he was a very wise fellow there.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Okay. So, like, really quick, I had no clue what the Boxcar Children was until a few years ago, and it was because of Geek Dad Life. I had never heard of that stuff. I've heard of Encyclopedia Brown. I had many Encyclopedia Brown books, but I had never heard of the Boxcar Children until. So I think it's a Mandela effect from the whatever reality I'm from. We did not have Boxcar Children, so
Mhm. So there we go. I finished up there, I think.
nice. All right, I'm gonna put you really quick on solo so that everyone can get a good look at. Oh wow, that looks really good. Oh my god, you may it looks like a
I'm just gonna put a little bit of orange into the sky, scribble that in,
yeah,
and
that looks really
start a
good,
skeleton.
Eldor. That like that looks like comic book art.
Oh,
Like I really like that. Like that's up there with like some of the mini comic cover art. Like very nice. Oh, I love the wings too.
it turned out a bit purple, but
It's got a nice like
we'll just put it down to the sunlight shining through.
yeah, it's got like a holographic
So
effect
yes,
almost.
I took a page from your book there, Alison, and just put a bit of a sun shape in there
Yeah,
using these uh, compass uh, tool here, which is
nice.
fairly useful.
Yeah, I don't use those anymore because I stab myself with them. But
Oh yes, you gotta be careful.
that's why I've got this thing. I can't. If I stab myself with that, it's just plain stupidity. So I really like
Mhm.
that, Eldor. That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you there.
And especially the cape. It's I don't know if you had a vintage Frosta, but like her cape had like the
No, no.
holographic iridescent
Oh
mermaid
wait, yes, I do have a vintage Foster.
and
Yes,
sort of the way you did the
Cheryl gave me.
bottom wings almost has that look to it, like that iridescence-ness. So that's very nice.
Yes, Cheryl fixed me up with some a Princess of Power figures.
All
So
right.
yes, I got a Foster in that, and amongst a few others, and she got me the horses too. I got a Bow's
Oh,
horse, Arrow,
arrow.
and she had the wings and the saddle for that, but missing
Oh,
the
nice.
I think missing the bridle and the
The bridle.
headpiece. I think,
Once I get
and
unpacked, I have a big box of extra stuff for Princess of Power. I'll go through it and see what
of
I
course
have, and I'll
she gave me Swiftwind as well,
nice.
but just the horse itself,
Yeah,
no wings or anything.
I'll go through my box once I get it on my Princess of Power stuff once I get it unboxed.
Oh,
And I'll go through
oh,
my
thank you.
box of because I used to, part of how I rebuilt it because I lost a lot of that in the hurricane. Part of how I
Yes,
rebuilt
yes.
what was missing was I would just go buy lots. People would have like a lot for $50, and there'd be like one. Yeah, like the character, she wouldn't have like her skirt or her armor or any accessories, but she herself would be like in really good shape. And then there'd be a bunch of bits and pieces, and accessories. So I just, $50, I would get a big box, and then I put it together. And like, I don't have bubble power. I have bubble power Shira, but I don't have any of her accessories. I've got
All right.
I don't have Silver Storm, but I have Silver Storm's Bridal because I've got a vintage Spinnerella shield and comb, but not a vintage Spinnerella because I would just buy lots, and people didn't always realize that they had, they just saw a pink shield or a pink comb and thought, oh, well, this is just whatever, and it'd be Spinnerella. So yeah, I'll go through my bits and pieces, and because there's a lot of
Thank you.
course parts, so I'll see what I have, and we'll figure
Yes,
out
of
how
course. She also gave me a bow as well, and a few Shiraz there, and
oh, nice.
a bow head. Bow head his quiver arrows thing, and so yes, he's almost complete there. And a few of them still had their skirts on,
Yeah,
and so forth. But in the various states conditions there, the Angela had her wing gimmick that you push down. The wings
yeah,
flew up, but of course one of the pins is snapped off at the back that holds it onto her back there. You see, so
yeah.
it doesn't hold
I
on at the
had
moment.
As a kid, I had 3 different Angelas growing up because the pegs broke.
Yes, I noticed the head sculpts are a little bit different. I've got several Shiraz there, and they've got different looking
Yeah,
head
that
sculpts
comes
there.
down to if it was made in, some, of course, were made in China. There were some that were made
Oh
in
yeah,
Hong Kong. A few of them that were made in Malaysia, I believe. I believe it's Malaysia. If somebody's watching this and knows better than I, feel free to correct me. If you're watching it right now, please throw it in comments. Or if you're watching in the replay, feel free to throw it in the comment section.
Oh,
I
you're
believe
doing better than
Malaysia,
me. You're doing better than me there, Alison. I'm not too
and I
clued up on
think
the theology of Earth myself.
yeah, and I think there are some slightly different heads, and then Mexico edition, and these were the ones sold only in Mexico, but they also had a slightly different head sculpt.
Ooh.
And we didn't necessarily get all of the different head sculpts. It was just in waves, and it was partly because of how many of those they were producing. They had to have multiple factories to make them. And I don't know that it is actually that it was a different head sculpt per se. I think some of it has to do with the way the plastic cooled and the paint apps, because I had 3 different Shiras as a kid, and one was very plain, one was very glamorous, and then the other was a butterface. So, but it was really just the paint apps on the Shira.
It's going to be
Some of
going
them
to be
really had,
it's going to be
really,
interesting to see how the cartoon horses turn out
yeah,
there.
yeah. I'm interested too, like, because definitely we need Swiftwind. It would be nice to get Arrow.
I do have Arrow and Classics also, but he's still in the box. And
I
the
didn't
wings
get
look nice.
Arrow in Classics, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't like the Filmation color scheme for Arrow. I think it's not attractive. Um, and that's just me. Like, people like it. I passed for that reason. I also don't have the Swift one though, because that came out a little bit before I started collecting classics. I cherry picked on. I didn't realize that it was a subscription service. They started popping up in my local comic shop, and then I saw some on eBay, and I got Tila, Green Goddess, Evelyn, Shira, Bo, and Katra like on eBay. And I only did the ladies and then Princess of Power and then the year they did the Princess of Power subscription, the sub service, I went ahead and I started subscribing to the main classics at that point because they started mixing in more of the Princess of Power characters. And then after they sort of finished all of the vintage Princess of Power except the variants, I stopped subscribing. Because
All right, see,
for me it
I
was
never knew
Princess of
about
Power.
the whole subscription thing. Well, I never knew about Classics in the Hole at first until I stumbled across Mr. Pixel Dan.
Yeah.
He was going through all those figures there. So that got me onto getting a few classics there myself. And yes, I had one of his favourites, a Mosquito, mint package, a King Randor, a Caldor, and who was it? It was a Hurricane Hordak, I think, and a good few other ones there. But I said they had to sell those. But I recently started collecting a few of the classics again, and got a few back that I sold all those years ago. Of course, one of them I tried to get back was the Mosquito, which was being sold by the very same person I sold them to originally all those years ago. And so, yes, I was in the bidding for that. I asked him if he had a buy now in mind, but he said he'd rather let the auction go. So, of course, I put my bid down there and ended up bidding against another fellow. And it was at that point, just about a day or so before the auction was going to end. And yes, my great eye of the universe spent the dummy on me. So all my gold I had ready to buy that Mosquito back went into getting a new this contraption here to keep me on the airwaves, as it were. But then I got another Mosquito recently. A fellow was selling a few of his classics, and I got another Procrustes there. And yes, so a lot of memories came flooding back, you might say, when I
Yeah.
had my classics those many years ago, but had to part with them. I had a loose
Oh,
moss. I had a loose Grizzle as well, but
yeah.
she was missing a piece.
But that was kind of, like what got me back into, because at that point I was collecting only Star Wars, and I was
All
picking
right.
up some DC stuff, mostly Wonder Woman, and and it was not long after the hurricane took, and after that happens, it takes you a while to sort of um,
Bounce
decompress
back.
from it. And it started because I was throwing it was for like let's see, what year was that? It was like my 35th birthday, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it was for my 35th birthday. And I threw a big 80s dance party, and I wanted for the party, I don't know if you remember the Annie movie that came out in 82. The Knickerbocker toy came with a little gold locket in it. And
Annie.
so I found Annie Knickerbocker doll on eBay with the little gold heart so that I could wear the gold heart as part of my costume to my 80s party. And
Oh, yes.
and
No, I'm not
searching for
familiar with
that,
Annie.
I was like, it would be really cool to have Perfuma again from
All right.
She-Ra. So while I was looking for She-Ra stuff, Classic She-Ra came up. And then I was like, well, what's this? And then Classics Tila popped up, and Evelyn and Golden Green Goddess. And I'm like, okay, well, let me just. So
Mm.
and at the time, I was like, wow, $30 a piece for these toys. Wow, that's really expensive.
Well, in your defense, Evelyn's always popping up every now and then. So,
Yeah. So I ordered all of them as part of my, like, and basically slid those in the budget for my, because the person I was seeing at the time had given me money, giving me like $1,000 to throw the party, to buy decorations and outfits and whatnot. He was generous in a way. And so I slid all those classics in there with it. She-Ra, yeah, She-Ra, Tila, Evelyn, and the Green Goddess. And I was like, well, I'll just get any Prince and Perfuma, of course. And I was like, but that was vintage. And I was like, I'll get any classic figure that's Princess of Power. And then went in the message boards and encountered Scott Nutlick and was like, oh my, this is a special individual. And for a while, didn't think we would get much more Princess of Power, but then they started coming out pretty regularly. So I was like, okay, I'm in. So
yes, in classics, I had a Ketra and a Froster. Those are
yeah,
the only two ahead of the princesses. I did have a Petunia disguise, a He-Man.
I think in classics, the only Princess of Power character I did not get was Seahawk. That's the only one that's the only one I'm still missing. And once we get settled and I get my collection set up, I will probably hunt down a Seahawk because I did like, unless the cartoon collection gives us a Seahawk. If we get cartoon collection Seahawk, then I'm good. Because I don't. I've sort of I get why people like classics, and I don't begrudge anyone for liking them, but I don't tend to care for classics. Like I don't think it doesn't fit my aesthetic. I have some Masterverse. Again, it's like Tila, Evelyn, Andra, Princess of Power characters. I have a few of the others that I've liked from New Eternia, but for the most part, I'm not into sort of that scale from Motu. So I'm way more about the 5 and 5, 5.5 scale. But Princess of Power, I'm a sucker for. But so if Seahawk shows up in the cartoon collection, I'm not going to worry about tracking down a classics version of him, because then I'll have my preferred scale for the character. And I just, especially some of the ladies in the classic sign, some of the face sculpts are really derpy looking. Tila has a great face sculpt. Evelyn is good. But a lot of the Princess of Power characters just ended up looking a little derpy for me. So
I know, Mr. Hebrew had issues with his Tila forehead. She was a
yeah,
bit too much forehead or something, so he did a bit of a fixer-upper on the.
and he does a lot. I mean, he does a lot of custom work over on his channel.
It's always hard to catch him though, because he
Yeah,
he, he goes live whenever, I suppose, whenever
he does. He's
feels
in
like.
the same time zone as I am. Like he's actually
Oh, yeah.
where I live right now. I mean, like I'm in the Portland metro area, and he's up in the Seattle metro area. I've actually back when we had Bobacon Toy Store, um, I didn't go like, "Hi, I watch you on the internet," but I ran. He was in Bobacon the same day. Me and my friends were up there buying stuff. We actually bought a Snake Mountain shell because my friend repaints Grayskull. He's been working on repainting them, and just he doesn't need like the insides and stuff. But we bought the same shell that he was gonna buy. He got on his live stream that night. He was like, "I was gonna buy one, and then somebody bought it out from before I could get it," and I was like, "Oops, that was us."
Oh yes,
So
I've had that a good few times and trying to collect all the pieces for my vintage Castle
yeah,
Grayskull. Put a few bids in there to try and get anything from a good weapons rack or the wee training spinner
yeah,
gimmick there. But and I've had a few people come and swipe those away from me. The gold is not plentiful as one would like. In other words.
yeah. Well, I like that Toy Polloi has all of the stickers for the cardboard cutout so that you can
Oh
basically
yeah.
make those and put them on much
Yes, I
nicer.
was fortunate with this set. Of course, it had most of the cardboard pieces, including the
Yeah,
spacesuit, just missing the small weapons rack, of course, which Mattel made as an actual plastic weapons rack in the Origins set.
all right, we'll see you later, Derek. Yeah, we'll be doing
Oh, good
retro.
journey.
Yeah. So really quick, everyone. So I am pointing right now to Skeletor. There's some weirdness going around in sort of his spread. I'm not sure
Yes,
what's going on underneath his butt here.
I've given him
So
a bit of shade there myself.
yeah, I'm going to be shading it in, but it looks like he is. It looks like what is the proper? It looks like he's teabagging. The way this
Oh,
art is drawn, it looks like he might be teabagging these skulls. So I'm
well,
going to fix that.
that's a new term on me.
Yeah. Don't Google it
Usually the tea
unless
bags you go in your tea, you know.
not Google teabagging Eldor. Even in Eternia, you're not going to like
Oh,
go to the Urban Dictionary and then just type in teabagging if you want to know what it means. But don't Google it because
right.
it might, yeah, no, don't Google that. Just go to Urban Dictionary and type in teabagging. That is my recommendation to
I think
everyone.
we'll leave it at that. I won't bother.
Yeah, if you hear a term and you don't know what it is, don't Google it. Go to the Urban Dictionary and look it up that way. So that way it's words and not pictures. Because it's really easy. And then if you read it and you're like, oh well, I might want to look at that, then you can Google it. But don't just Google stuff and then get pictures you don't want. Go to the Urban Dictionary and type the word in exactly as it sounds.
I find when I'm watching Oz's show there, I don't have to bother about googling it. He usually tells you what's what. And
Oh yeah, there are many times on the clubhouse where things get, yeah, it gets a little dicey sometimes. I tend to not get that dicey on the morning stream because it's daytime, but at the same time, at
good
the same
though.
time.
I'm sure there's plenty of things on Earth that you wouldn't pick up in the lingo here on Eternia.
Yeah. Hello, Payne. Lovely to see you.
Hello,
Thank you
Aaron,
for
sir.
popping in.
You're good, sir. Yeah.
So really quickly, Alex Black Phoenix says, I am quite familiar with teabagging. Okay. That's because you nasty. You nasty. All right, there we go.
Although a cup of Earl Grey goes down rather well.
Yeah, right. That's what you need, Alex. Just a couple cups of Earl Grey, and it'll make the tea bags go away. The things that happen, the things that we start talking about, you guys. That's why you have to watch the show live. No, just kidding. Because it still exists. I'm not somebody who goes back later and trims stuff out of my live streams. It's too much work. I also don't know how to do that. So if I ever become YouTube rich, the first thing I'm going to do is hire an editor to just go in and fix everything for me.
Yes, most of these fellas that you see, they have production people help them out, like the Toy Galaxy fellow and a few others I watched there, like the Mr. Y Files and Mr. Hicklefish. So they usually have a team helping them out that probably takes the stress off, I think.
Yeah, and like it's honestly my least favorite part of the process. For a lot of, I don't like the color and chill stuff. I actually enjoy editing those. It's like anytime I do a deep dive or anything that requires like steps. If it's just like dropping stuff and like putting music over it and then throwing, but anything that requires like a lot of actual effort, I'm too impatient. Like I like the process of creating. One of the reasons I do like live streams is I can just kind of sit here and ramble on with a guest or by myself and color and have a completed piece and then not have to go back and edit it in any way. So.
All right. Yes, the editing does take a bit longer to do, and that's another thing I'm struggling with having time at the moment with doing other things and not being on YouTube as much as I was when I first stumbled across it. So, yes, hopefully my time will be freed back up and I'll be getting back on. I also forgot to edit the date for my custom movie, 87 rather, Faker.
Yeah.
Yes, I forgot to change the date on it. I think it went live when I forgot to move the date forward. But yes, I'm also still waiting on a few materials that I'll need to do that live. A few paints and this and that.
Nice. I can't wait for that superpowers video. Something pretty good. All right. Let's see. All right. Now is the controversial part. All right. some people do not like when I give Skeletor eyes. But I personally like Skeletor to have eyes. I feel like he looks more evil.
His eyes are more red, really.
Yeah.
You don't really see as much in the filmation, of course.
He looks way more like a demon from a different dimension if he has eyeballs. All right. Here we go. Excellent. All right. Well, we did just hit the 2-hour mark, so we should probably go ahead and wrap it up. Just so that I can get some lunch and check on this neurotic cat before I jump on Bobby dangerously. I can't even say dangerously. On Bobby's stream about Decker Northcutt. So really quick.
You're on the case again.
On the case
Well,
again.
yes, I only got the shading done there, but that's all good.
But only shading looks really good. So most excellent. We'll definitely have you back, and we'll work on this again. We can finish it up. So yeah. So that looks really good.
Well, that's got one finished at least.
Yeah, you did, and that looks really good. I'll put you back really quick on solo, just so everyone can admire your amazing
camera angle there.
Yeah, it looks really good, Eldor. Very impressive. Really quick. Just, again, I only got started, but we did fix his junk. So there we go. Skeletor is started.
Oh, looking good there.
So really quick, where can people find you, Eldor?
Well, like I mentioned in today's live, I haven't done too many videos, of course, on my channel, Masterversal Toy Hunter, on the YouTube there. The last video I did was for the Star Wars, May the 4th, action figure review that you and Lawrence had set up there. And but otherwise, I'm also on the old IG there. A lot of you young folk are using, I understand it. So yes, I'm on there too. Masterversal Toy Hunter, just the same name. And yes, I usually post my my custom works and art that I'm dabbling in here and there, and also occasionally a new action figure or two that I might pick up. And yes, which reminds me, I got a couple of photos to take of some my recent mail calls there to put up. But yeah, I mostly collect a Master of the Universe there and a few Mythic Legions on the side, but other things too, like the old Transforming Fellows and most interesting properties from the 80s there that we've just learned about and picked up on Eternia in the past 100 years or so. So yeah.
Excellent. I have for everyone. I have a link in the description to Eldor's channel here on YouTube. It will be updated within the next 20-30 minutes ish with his Instagram handle, so that you guys can also follow him over there. If you don't already, you should definitely be following him, because especially if you like Masters of the Universe, he does amazing. You do amazing work in general always, but right now your Green Goddess Jungle Palace and your Snake Lair are both really epic, and all Motu fans should be checking those out because they're epic people, epic.
Well, thank you.
And Eldor will be back. I'm gonna we may not finish this one, but I've got Last time Eldor was here, we did original Grayskull art he made. So I'm hoping when he comes back, he'll have some original art. He just didn't have enough time to make that happen for this one.
Oh no, not as much as that as I thought.
Yeah,
You might
it
like to
happened.
choose for us this time. So yeah.
Yeah, and life is complicated. That's why I have all these coloring books. It's really easy for me to send some pages and pick some
Indeed,
stuff
yeah.
for us to have fun with. So, but so we might do some more pages from an existing coloring book, or we might have some original Eldor art. So either way, definitely, if I could talk, words are hard. Definitely rejoin us when Eldor comes back in the future, which will be super future for him because he already lives in the future from us. So because it's in the future.
Confusing things aside, yes,
Yeah.
I'll see what the Eldor Bob might whip up for me to colour in there next time.
And then later today, I will be on Bobby Dangerously's. Oh my God, his live stream, and that will be in my community tab for anyone who's not already subscribed to him, so that you can follow over there. Next Thursday, again, Retro Cavalcade, the Rural Juror with myself, Derek, and Andrew, where we're breaking down what we liked about New York Comic Con. Friday, the goal is to be here by myself doing a live stream, coloring something. Don't know if it'll happen. The moving stuff is pretty hectic. Saturday, I'll be with Lawrence on his channel coloring Lilo and Stitch. Next Sunday, there won't be a live stream just because moving is. But first week
You'll be busy enough with the moving, I'm sure.
yeah, right. So the first week
Right,
in
but yeah,
November, I should be back to regular. After that, we should be back to regular Sundays and every other Friday. So I do apologize for the all over the placeness of it, but it's unavoidable with putting stuff into boxes and drama cats. So thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, I saw Holly Adam there.
Glad to keep you company, Adam. And Adam streams later today as well, so go check that out. And go find
welcome there, sir.
Alex, aka Black Phoenix, on IG. All right, so we're gonna head out. Thank you again, everyone, for hanging out with us today. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Oh yeah,
and until next time, a good journey, everybody.
Yeah, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. So.
Indeed, hit that like button.
Smack it. All right, I'm Allison Troy, Retro Toy Princess. We'll see you in the next one.
Cheerio.